Fortnite, man, this is like my favorite video game probably of all time. I've been playing it for years, but oh my god, this game has some issues, man. And I love this game. Like, this is all coming from like a place of love and care, and there's no script for this video, and there might not even be editing. I'm just honestly just trying to get my thoughts out there, and it's just like there's so many. We'll get into it. I mainly just want to go over the super easy stuff, not necessarily like the stuff that's going to get everybody in arms, but just the basic stuff. And in the background, I'll just be going around my creative map because I like making creative maps and show some examples and stuff. But this game is truly something special, and I just feel like the way they've handled it recently isn't the best. Like, this current season's a great example. This should be a banger season. The loot pool is solid. There was good map changes, have been pretty fun. The updates have had content, but it's just missing something. And I feel like everybody that plays Fortnite consistently or nowadays can honestly agree with me, or at least on some part, get the understanding of where I'm coming from. It's just like there's just something missing, and I feel like the so if we talk about the loot pool, it's solid. We got the iron pump, and then the let me find them. We got the iron pump, and then we had the double shotgun, and then we had the sovereign. Honestly, twin and iron pump, very fun guns. Iron pump probably one of the best ones that they've ever added. Yeah, so iron pump and the twin fire hammer shotguns are very solid, but then we just kind of got the sovereign shotgun, which is, it's not a bad shotgun, but it's just like an in between, and it's not really, none of these guns are necessarily really that fun to use except the iron pump. I'm recording this when the pump shotgun and combat shotgun just got added, and I feel like the buffs they did to the combat were really good, but making the pump even better is, oh, this is a sharp two for the pump. This is also another issue, how they'll have three guns in the creative menu that look the exact same, but we'll get to that stuff later. The pump now doing 200 headshot is amazing, but this thing does way too much body shot. 128. I had the pre-chapter 2 season 2 rework of shotguns was perfect. Like, the legendary pump should do 110 body and then 210, 220 to the head. That was perfect balancing. Not too much body, not too much headshot, well, perfect headshot. It was balanced, and I feel like the iron pump is the closest we've gotten to a balanced shotgun in a while that's fun to use. Like, the hammer pump from chapter 2 season 5 was fun to use, but it was a pea shooter, man. That thing was awful. But what I think Fortnite really should have done is, I do enjoy the combat, but I don't really think it fits this season. The buff was really good, where it's basically the old stats just with a lower body shot, but it can two-shot headshot. Is they should have done the iron pump, the double one, and then throw in something like, I don't know, the charge shotgun, the dragon's breath shotgun, the double barrel, or even the outlaw, just for something unique. Because I feel like the game is at its most fun when you got a type of pump and tack, and then you got a specialty weapon that not necessarily everybody will like, but it has like a cool gimmick, or it has a niche. And that's usually when the game's the most fun. Like, think of some of the best seasons. Chapter 2 season 2, we got pump, tack, and was there another shotgun? I don't think there's another shotgun that season. But if you think about the OG seasons, how they had the double barrel or like the combat, they were like more niche shotguns. Well, not necessarily it's combat, but okay. Let me rephrase this. Think of chapter 2, season 7 and 8, where you had like the tack, pump, and charge. Perfect. Honestly, I think that's the best meta of shotguns we've ever had. You had the charge before its nerf, where the blue one doesn't even one-shot headshot. You had the pump, and then it was like the lever before it got absolutely obliterated and made terrible, and then the tack. Like, honestly, perfect meta. You have fast fire rate shotgun, good at destroying walls and getting into people's boxes. The pump does heavy damage, rewards skill, and the charge is a very defensive player gun for going underneath. And you would see, because of the crafting system that season 2, you'd see pros use all three of them, and honestly, that's probably the best. And even chapter 2 season 3, where it was the tack, I think it was the tack, the charge, and yeah, it was just tack and charge. It was chapter 2 season 5 that added the that did it again, but with the what's it called? Where is it? The lever and the dragon's breath. Like, there was niches. There was a reason for every gun. Where right now, just you can't have the Twin Fire and the Sovereign in the same meta because it's basically the same gun. It's just really, it's just not. There's no choice there. It's just, oh, this one's better than the other one, or that one's better than this one. There's no gameplay variety. And then the assault rifles. If we go for the assault rifles this season, we had the tactical assault rifle, the Deadeye, the lock-on enforcer. That was all the ones before they added the scar, which I really like that they added the scar and they buffed it, so it actually feels really usable. The enforcer is a very good solid gun. It's just honestly not that fun to use. Like like I don't know, the noise it makes just doesn't feel like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like, it doesn't feel that fun to use. Like they might have to tweak stuff with the audio, but the actual gun itself is really good. Tactical AR after buffs, really fun gun. Reminds me of the old tactical AR before they added the scope. The lock-on assault rifle, I've heard it's really good in zero build. I don't play zero build, and then in build it's just kind of a nothing burger. This is like a super gimmicky gun, but I could understand it. Like these three would actually have choices to use. You have the gimmicky gun, which I'm fine with gimmicky guns. Then you have the slow fire rate and the fast fire rate. All have their reasons. But then you just have the Deadeye. And then the MK later on, but we're not going to talk about MK. That's just 7 related, and we're just going to talk about the main issues. The first person ARs are never balanced. The only first person ARs that I would argue are balanced is the original scoped AR and the thermal, just because the one that's automatic is super slow firing, and then the thermal doesn't do that crazy of damage, but it's tap fire, so you can't really get beamed by them. It's kind of like using a DMR, but like actually good. But these scoped weapons, yeah, they're fun to use, but there's just no downside, and they just beam you, and it's not fun to get beamed. Like, yeah, if I get beamed by a bloom weapon, I know that person has decent controller aim or just really good luck, you know. There's a lot of skill there, where this is just like, I go pew 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 pew. It's not that, like, it doesn't feel like that person earned that kill on me. And people say there's a lot of recoil. Yes, I play controller, but like, there's nothing. I do like the change that they made in the update that I'm recording this, where it does turn to bullet drop after 100 meters, but I just think they should all be bullet drop. There should be a downside, either bullet drop or give this like insane recoil, like it's Rainbow Six Siege recoil or something, because it's just like, man, you just get beamed from across the map. It's just not fun to fight. It's fun to use, but every time there's powerful ARs, unless it's like the 100% meta, like in Chapter 2 Season 3, everything was broken but the shotgun, so it kind of balanced itself out. But you can't have like something like the TAC AR and the Deadeye in the same meta and expect people to use the tactical AR. Like, I do think they should try a season with only scoped assault rifles, but it might be a bit too late for that because of the community sentiment on the ARs. A lot of build players, I find, hate the scoped ARs. A lot of zero build players do seem to enjoy them, from what I've been able to tell from friends and online discourse. But it's just like, I don't know, man. What I think would have been a perfect thing, which is kind of right now, but they didn't do it perfectly, is I think we should have had the tactical assault rifle, the enforcer, and either the normal AR scar, currently the buffed one, because this would be not necessarily the best meta, but it would have fit this season. You know, your fast fire AR that uses SMG ammo, then you have a normal AR that does more damage, but you know, it uses AR bullets. So you have, like, you're playing duos, you have one use the other, one use the other one. You know, sometimes fast fire rate is good, you know, kind of like rarity situation, and then you got your slow fire rate AR. I feel like this would have been a good meta, or even bring back the infantry rifle or the burst, you know. Let's say you don't want that AR, you want to use that, you can have the infantry rifle, because they recently updated this gun. I personally don't like that it's automatic anymore. It kind of makes it too good, but that's personal. Or even bring back the burst, you know, make it do like a little bit more damage and tighten the spread so it's actually more usable. Before the Chapter 4 Season 1 nerf that it got for literally no reason. But the burst is a fun weapon. I'm sad that they nerfed it. Or even, like, because it's alien season, they could have brought back the pulse rifle or the collateral AR. There's just so many ways they could have done. Even like the hammer would have been fun. Like, it's okay for Fortnite to bring back old guns. They seem scared to bring back old weapons until this update because of the community outroar, because what everybody's been saying, they're finally doing it. But Fortnite really seems to be scared of bringing back old guns people enjoyed. Like, I don't know why they just don't do the tack and pump. And yeah, we got, like, the iron pump, but, like, can't you just change the stats of the pump? And if you really want to keep the old pump intact for, like, nostalgia reasons, you have the OG version because of the new OG mode that you can just leave in creative or unvault from time to time. Have the updated version that's from chapter 2, and keep the you could like it's just there's so much they could do. And like, I don't like that they're only bringing back the top 2 rarities of pumps. What they should do is, yes, the pump shotgun is iconic, like this model is iconic, and then you have the lower rarity. They should make the current pump that's in the game right now all rarities, like all the colors of the pump shotgun, like this model. And then for the sharp tooth, have the higher rarity pump for that. So then that also fixes the sharp tooth issue using the same model as the pump, and then you also keep both models. And then for the OG one in the creative menu, you just keep the OG one as the separate tier models. I do prefer the old tier models, but honestly, for new player onboarding after all the guns they've added and all the resources and like learning curve that it comes when they add new guns and stuff, and just for consistency reason, I do think they should end up splitting like the high tier like compact, the burst, how they had different models. I think it's a good thing that they got rid of that, even though I feel like it does ruin the aesthetic of the game a little bit. But there's just so many weapons now, it's just better for new players, and because there's still new players to this game. Contrary to belief, a lot of people that grew up with this game are working now, and all the players now I see online people are saying like, I miss these battle passes that they never got because like they weren't like old enough to play, or they just didn't play then. And it is what it is. But for SMGs, I feel like the SMG loot pool has been pretty solid. There's not really any complaints. I'm just happy they aren't broken. The Flex SMG I do think got a little overbuffed. Like, I don't think it needed the AM magazine increase, personally, but it's not really, it's just a nitpick, because I feel like the worst metas in Fortnite history have all had really OP SMGs, like Season 5, Chapter 3, basically the entirety of Chapter 3. While we're on that note, how has the combat SMG, like, survived, like, with barely any nerfs? This thing is insane. Like, a fire rate nerf would literally fix this thing. Make the fire rate like 8 or 9. Like, it's just broken, man. This thing is like an AR on steroids. Like, this thing, sorry to go on the tangent, but combat, it's really fun to use, but this thing I would say is worse than like the twin fire, what's it called? The Stinger SMG in its prime. It's just OP, man. Like, they need to like eventually bring back this gun, and like, it's fun to use, but like, nerf this, man. Like, the fire rate is the issue. But that brings up another issue that I kind of have with Modern Fortnite, is the guns aren't balanced around each other. Because are you gonna tell me that this tactical submachine gun, which is kind of really ass, is gonna compete with something like the combat SMG, the Surge Fire, even like the machine SMG, man? Like, the guns are not balanced around each other at all, and they're balanced for the season they're in, which I think is very flawed, because now we have like guns that are way too strong, and then they'll end up getting nerfed when they're in seasons with weaker weapons, or those weaker weapons will be brought up way too strong. Like, it's annoying, dude. Like, the balance, if I put the red eye and let's say, like, let's see here, what's a gun that's kind of mid? The burst, like, no one in their right mind is choosing the burst over the red eye. You could be like, oh, it's a scoped AR, so like, you can't use it close range. It doesn't matter. You can't use either of these at close range. There's just no competition. It's just sad. Like, they need to balance the guns with each other. Yeah, that makes it hard, but like, come on, man. Like, Reload is the perfect example of that, where you'll get something like, oh, let's unvault the Fury Assault Rifle, and the Red Eye is another example in the same meta, or like, let's unvault the Spire Rifle, and I don't know, the Havoc suppressed SMG AR. Like, these guns just do not compare. Like, there's no world where anybody would choose the suppressed rifle over this. Like, I'm not saying like bad guns can't exist, but man, It's just disappointing. Now, I feel like that's good for the weapons. I could make like a video on any of these things. Like if you guys want to see a video, like pistols are honestly pretty good. Snipers, explosives, they're not bad. They have issues, but they're not bad. The main issue about Battle Royale is like where are consumable items in our traps? Like we haven't had traps since chapter 5 season 4, and then before that it was like chapter 3. Like why don't we have launch pads, bouncers, bike traps, even the zap traps, the OG ones? Like people complain about no mobility, so they just shove shockwaves. Well, I don't think anybody could be complaining about mobility so much if they could just toss down a launch pad or a bouncer, you know? Like, that's part of why old Fortnite, even though it didn't have the most insane mobility, you always felt like you had mobility because you had traps, you had consumables. That's just gone from the game. A lot of that personality is just vanished for no reason, and it's sad because like there's so many cool things they could do with new traps or balancing, like make the spike trap do less damage, bring it back, it's iconic. Like you're just removing iconic features. Like even if you want to bring back the campfire, yeah, it'd be OP for heal offs, just make it so it doesn't heal in the storm, you know? There's just so many balancing choices and stuff that's just like, why don't we have bouncers? There's literally no reason to not have bouncers. They're fun, they combine with a bunch of items, you know? Like we don't have to have them every season. I don't think we should have it every season because then there will be fatigue, but like gosh, like they proved it in OG Fortnite that you can have traps in zero build too. So if that's not a valid reason to not bring them back. And then consumables. The reason why people hate shockwaves is because how many shockwaves you get. Because there's just no other consumable. For some reason, they locked the clingers and the dynamite behind the blimps. And yeah, it's cool to have a reason to go to blimps, but I would have put something like glider redeploy in there, you know? No one's going to a blimp for a clinger. Like, that's just floor loot. And then when you get the clingers or dynamite, you don't get enough to actually carry them for the whole game. Those are like utility items. I don't know why they're not in the standard loot pool. And it would make shockwaves less rare. Well, not less rare. They'll make them more rare. So there would be less shockwaves, and there would be other stuff in the loot pool to take its place, you know? And the clingers are fun items. It's fun to stick someone from across the map. And dynamites, I do think might need a little bit of a nerf, but they're fun as hell to use. And, you know, just interesting. Or even make a new impulse grenade that is like the OG impulse, where it doesn't break builds or anything, but it launches you as far as a shockwave and makes it so it doesn't take damage. Like, make a new item there. That would fix everybody's issue with shockwaves, but keep the game mechanic of getting launched across the map, you know? That would be fun. Just add more. And not necessarily, like, I don't want, like, 80 consumable items, but, like, maybe, like, 5. Like, let's say, like, 5 consumables, and then, like, two or three traps a season. So, like, imagine this season we had the launch pad, bouncer, we had the glider suit. I don't know where the glider suit is. It's somewhere in here. We had the glider suit. We had the glider suit. We have, let's say my theoretical new impulse shockwave combo grenade. You had clinger, dynamite, and then I don't know, throw in like the grappler or a shield bubble, just something more utility to defend yourself. That would add a bunch of mobility, a bunch of fun items, and just make the game genuinely more fun. And all this is coming from a place of love for this game, and I really hope some of these changes happen. And I have a lot more ideas and things I can yap about, but honestly, that's really down to if you guys want to see that or anything. This is a new type of video I wanted to try, just a yap session, because I love yapping, and I have so much opinions and thoughts about this game that I love to share, because it's like one of my favorite games ever made. And yeah, subscribe and comment if you want to see more, and take care. This is my yap session.